Hello and welcome to another video from
Absolute Game of Nerd!
All right, as you I'm sure saw in the thumbnail and you can see on the scrolling banner today, I am doing my top 5 undervalued comics, and I'm making them specific to my collection. Of course, this has been a community tag video, and I was tagged by Ryan, aka Colossus Collector, so thanks for the tag. I've been seeing this tag go around and seen a number of folks do it and got tagged, and so I got to jump in. I am blanking at the moment on who started this, so my apologies there. But again, Ryan tagged me, so here we go. I have 5 books. Again, I'm going for 5 for my collection. One of them I just feel is blank, and it'll be the first one I show. It's just straight up undervalued, right? I've talked about it many times, and I post about it, and I think it's undervalued. But the other 4 are books that I wouldn't say they're valuable books. They've just, the market has gone down, and I find these 4 books have crashed quite a bit, and I'd say that they're undervalued in the sense that not that they're cheap, but that it's amazing to me how affordable, or how, maybe not affordable is the right word, but how cheap they've become. And I'm curious to see if you agree with me on these. So to start out, right, the book that I think is just straight up undervalued. I'm sure many of you who know me can guess what this is going to be. And of course is Iron Man and Submariner #1. What I love, this book predates both Iron Man and Submariner 1. They're each individual. Now, I do understand that those are the first issues of the ongoing series, and this was only a one-off. But the fact that it predates those, and so based on that, I don't think it should be worth as much of those. But the fact that those are literally almost 10x the value, I don't understand. For example, a mid-grade you could get in the $400 or $500 range. A mid-grade of this you can get for under $100 these days. Plus, this is the cover. This is better than both the covers from, and you may disagree with me on that, but I love this cover. I really like both Submariner and Iron Man 1's covers, especially Iron Man 1's purple cover. I think they're both fantastic. I just think this is the better of the 3. So I just think it should be worth more. Maybe not as much as those, but not a 10x differential. Maybe half to a little more, right? So if a mid-grade of those is $400 or $500, maybe this should be in the $200 to $300 range potentially. But it is what it is. All right, so now we'll get into the 4 books that I own that I think so valuable books. They just have come down a lot. The first being Iron Man 55, right? First appearance of Thanos. Obviously, early days of the MCU, especially after Avengers 1, you get that end credit scene. Thanos, this book goes to the moon, right? But then as the MCU continues on, obviously with Endgame, you have the end of Thanos. And from there, those prices that it was at obviously come crashing down. Now, I do know there is a complaint that people don't love this cover and that Thanos isn't on the cover. But again, this is the first appearance. I used to think a good kind of relative way to add value, is that a good deal? Up until you get into the higher grade, like 7.0 and above, I think that book is a solid $100 per point book. I think now I feel like you can get a 6.0 for under 500. And so I think that is pretty undervalued in my opinion. I think Thanos is let's see, when we come into top villains of Marvel, right? I think it's Doom is #1, and then I'd say Magneto's right there. I think that's unquestioned, right? After that, you could debate, is Thanos 3? Is he in the top 5? I think, based on the opinions, he could definitely be in that top 5 list. And therefore, I think his first appearance is a big book. Obviously, it's a Bronze Age book. So there are more copies than Silver Age appearances, but I think it's a good book. I think it's an undervalued book. So it's on my list. Next book up, same thing, right? Obviously, he was a huge character in the MCU. And then, unfortunately, in real life, he passed away, which I'm sure this now gives away my book. But it is FF52, first appearance of the Black Panther. Silver Age book, first appearance, first major Marvel black superhero. Was a huge presence in the MCU. I can't get why that book, again, mid-grade, couple $100. You know, it's crazy to me how cheap that book has become. And I think it's undervalued. Again, too, also you have, obviously, with this one, classic Jack Kirby cover. I like the cover a lot. He's right there, right in front of the moon. I think it's dope. So undervalued, in my opinion. Next up, obviously, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised. I put this on the list. Again, Silver Age book, and it is of my favorite character. First appearance, Fantastic Four, 48. First appearance of the Silver Surfer. For a long time, this was also considered first appearance of Galactus. Now, CGC denotes it as the first cameo. He is just in one panel on the last page. And then FF49 is on is the first full appearance. This book, again, it crashed hard. Like, it used to be like 4x what it is now. Obviously, that was based on those COVID highs, and I don't think it should be that high, but a 4x drop. I mean, obviously I'm biased here, right? Silver Surfer, my favorite character, period. But I do think he's a popular character, and I think he's a major character. He's in some major storylines, and this also kicks off the trilogy storyline with Galactus. Obviously, we're going to get Silver Surfer in the MCU. Again, mid-grade there, you can find, I mean, not mid-grade, but, you know, you can find 3.0, 4.0. Yeah, I guess that's mid-grade. If you go on 4.0, you can get those for under $1,000. And I just think that book should be more in the 1,200-ish range in terms of value. But again, I obviously am biased on that one. Lastly, okay, my last one, when you think of the Marvel Silver Age kind of grails of first appearances, I feel like this one comes in at the bottom in terms of value. And I think I get it. It's a year later. So I'm going to show you real quick, right? Daredevil, #1. There you go. Couple knocks on this. I know it gets less value because it's a year later than most of those, right? Like FF, you have 61, AF-15, 62, and then a lot of those other big hitters are 63, right? This is 1964. So that puts it a year behind. So that knocks down some of the value. And then I know a lot of people don't love the cover. I love these kind of campy classics comic book covers, especially with the panels. I think it's super cool. And then you got Daredevil. I think, you know, maybe a lot of it is that Daredevil isn't as unique as some of those other first appearances, right? Especially because he's street level and you already got Spider-Man on street level. So maybe there's some carryover there, and that's why people don't value it as much. Still, Daredevil has become a huge character in the Marvel Universe. So I think that book should be, you know, I don't think it should be worth as much as like first Iron Man or first Thor. But it should not be half, right? What that 3.0 goes for now is less than what a one by far what like a 1.0 goes for Iron Man and Thor. So I just think it's just too big of a drop off. So it is my 5th book on my undervalued books. Anyways, again, obviously this is all opinion based. We can't speak for the market individually, but that's just how I feel. I'm curious to know your thoughts on my picks. And then with that, I have to tag 3 individuals. So I am going to tag Irwin, Spider-Man Mustang, newer to the YouTube scene, but we had a great chat with him when he came on to our show. And then I'm going to tag my boy Joseph of Wolverine's Comic Shop. And then who's my 3rd one? I just blanked on it. It is... Oh, Dragon Ink Comics. I haven't heard from you in a long time. So I'm going to call you out here. And let's see. You got some great Golden Age books. I'm sure you consider some of them undervalued. So let's see what you got. I'll tag all these people in the description. But otherwise, that is all I got for you today. And let's keep this thing rolling. Peace out.